the threat to Whitman. Because I'm a true patriot that has now self-funded his second campaign, not taking a dime from anybody, including Soros. I drive around in a 95 F100 pickup truck, right out there with all my mobile banners. I got involved last election when Pelosi took her word back and said I won't do an impeachment until I have bipartisan. She took it back, ran an impeachment, violated her oath, and the Constitution is very clear. You have to have high crimes and misdemeanors as your articles of opinion, articles of impeachment. She put obstruction of Congress and abuse of power. I'm sorry, those are opinions. And that was a huge fraud on the American tax dollars. And we got to take this government back. I'm here to be the seed. Plant me in Congress and let me grow and flourish to a tall redwood. Okay? A huge sequoia redwood. Because until we start sending real people to Congress, it's over. And in fact, this next election, it might already be too late. We have to vote on election day en masse. Voting early gives the deep state the knowledge of who's up and down. Yep. And these machines are specifically designed to keep all incumbents left and right in office. That's why they've been in for so long. I'm here to say, put yourselves together. Belief is the enemy of knowing, and your ego is the protector of belief. Get to know me, website, follow my Twitter and Facebook. That's all you need to know. Who's going to take this country back and lead the spearhead and take out the tyranny.
Thank you, Mr. Foster. Before Colonel Jones, or not respond, but before he introduces himself, I just want to remind you to please submit your questions for these candidates. If you have an index card, write your question on the index card and just raise it up in the air, and one of the NAACP.
First of all, I want to say freedom is not free. And by virtue of the fact that you all are here participating in our political process, you understand that if we don't work and fight for our freedoms and our rights, we will lose them. So I thank you all for taking time out to be here this evening. I want to thank the NAACP for hosting this. It's really good to see you again. I'm Herb Jones. I'm running for the 1st Congressional District of Virginia. I'm a business owner. I'm a retired colonel with 30 years of service, including tours in Iraq, 2 tours in Iraq. When I was commissioned a second lieutenant out of Appalachian State University in North Carolina, when I took my oath of office to protect and defend the Constitution of the United States, I meant it. I put my life on the line for this country, and I will do it again. My parents taught me and my 3 brothers to believe in a more perfect union. The promise of America. Freedom, democracy, truth, and justice. I believe women should have the right to make their own healthcare decisions. Government should not be involved in the most intimate decisions they have to make. They've taken women's rights away. They've relegated women to second-class citizens. What happens when they come after you? Who's going to fight for your rights? As I look around the room, there are a couple of people I see that are probably on Social Security. If the other side has their way, you're going to lose Social Security. Your Social Security is going to change. Your Social Security will be changed. You're going to lose Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid. If you're a veteran, they're going to take your veterans benefits. I believe that infrastructure, there was a question about, in the previous form, about attracting more students. You have to build infrastructure. You have to give businesses a reason to come to Mathews County. We need to build infrastructure. And lastly, if we don't have a country, nothing else matters. January 6th of last year was the first time we did not have a peaceful transfer of power. And things have only gotten worse. We have a former president who thinks he can take classified documents
join and why? And who is the chairman of that committee?
House Intelligence Committee would be great. We need to bring so many of these people from within Congress and other bureaucracies into having hearings. But for the most part, we already know what's going on, people. We know all about Fauci, his 3 lies to his 3 visits to Congress to Senator Rand Paul. We're done with having congressional hearings. When will we see prosecutions? Because you and I be in prison for life already.
I can't give you the name of a committee. I can tell you that I'm interested in climate, I'm interested in defense, and I'm interested in budget. So I can't tell you who's the chairman of those committees.
Won't be the same in January.
This question is for both of you. The question is, what will you do to make more opportunities for veterans? What will you do to make more opportunities for veterans? Mr. Foster, followed by Colonel Jones.
Okay. Why are we giving illegal border crossers $3,500 of our tax dollars? Imagine what that could do to our homeless veterans across America. We are having an invasion, not of an army, but of a people. Trump had it under control, and as I said at the other NAACP meetings, this should have been a continuation with the new administration. Finish the wall, it saves lives. Thousands are dying as they're coming across due to environmental impacts. Look at the 50 people that were in that tractor trailer, dead on arrival. It saves lives.
Would you repeat your question?
Colonel Jones, that question is, what will you do to make more opportunities for veterans?
Okay. The first thing we need to do is, it's difficult sometimes for veterans to navigate the VA system. We need to make that as simple as possible, and if they need assistance, we need to provide that assistance. We need to do more outreach. I'm sure you all have been in localities and you see folks in the middle of the road panhandling. A lot of those folks are veterans, and when you ask them, have you gone to the VA? The question more times than not is, there's just too much trouble. So I think we need to do more outreach, and we need to make access to the VA much more streamlined and easier for people to take advantage of those benefits.
This question is for you. Colonel Jones, Congress needs more people who will work across the aisle to hammer out solutions. Please talk about your experience of reaching across the aisle, common ground with people with whom you differ.
Again, my success in the military, and anybody serving in the military, you know that you are working with folks who are very different from you, have different cultures, and you have to learn to work with other folks. I used to be the chair of the Democratic Committee in New China, and the chair of the Republican Committee, he and I were friends before we got into politics. His kids were raised in the New Kent schools as was mine. Every 3 months, give or take, we would have dinner. Often we would talk politics. A lot of times we would talk sports, but he and I absolutely disagreed on almost everything. But he was a Republican, I'm a Democrat, and we were able to sit down and talk. And it used to be that way in Congress. And I would certainly try to do that when I'm in Congress next year.
Thank you, Colonel Jones. Mr. Foster, this question is for you. Mr. Foster, are you a proponent of marijuana use? And do you think it should be legalized?
I never used the term marijuana. It was a racially derived term. Mr. Jones and I both agree cannabis is the preferred use. And we both agree that cannabis and hemp has a high efficacy rate for genus, including the animal kingdom. All vertebrates have an endocannabinoid system of receptors to receive the benefits of the cannabinoids of the hemp and the cannabis, two sister strains. So God created hemp for the medical use of its life force, and that's what it's all about. It was fear-mongering the government, saying it's a gateway to hard drugs. In fact, Rush Limbaugh said cannabis got him off of opioids addictions over the decades, and many celebrities have realized, and they've come out publicly. Mother's breast milk has cannabinoids, okay? So, no. Cannabis is safe, non-toxic, non-addictive, and possible to overdose.
Thank you, Mr. Foster. Colonel Jones, this question is for you. Colonel Jones, if elected to Congress, please tell us your top 3 priorities for your first 100 days in Congress.
First, codify a woman's right to make her own decisions. I think we need to. We have a mental health issue in this country, but with guns and shootings, the problem is it's too easy to have access to guns. I think we need to do a better job of background checks. Folks need to be required to have training. They need to be required to have insurance, and we need to hold the gun manufacturers accountable. And thirdly, infrastructure. We need infrastructure development and improvement all across the district. And so those would be the first 3 areas that I would focus on.
Mr. Foster, this question is for you.
I can't add to that last question, can I?
I'm sorry?
I can't add to that last question.
No, that question was for you.
Okay.
There are specific questions for each of you, and so I'd like to do that too.
I can answer that too in 10 seconds.
Mr. Foster, this is your question. How do you define representative democracy?
We, the people, elect the individual that is supposed to represent us. We don't send them to the deep state of D.C. to forget about us. And what we have now is not a two-party system. It's been a one-party, uniparty of foreign global interests, sending our federal tax dollars overseas and domestically to programs that then they funnel that money back into this corrupt Congress of ours donation for their next campaign. It's money laundering, racketeering, cycling our tax dollars round and round, and it's just got to end. We need representation of real people, real patriots like me, to speak for the people. Trailer parks to mansions on the river and in between were the people that signed my petition. And I did everything on my own for 2 consecutive election cycles. And I made the ballot in under $1,000. Let's not leave that by the wayside.
Thank you, Mr. Foster. Colonel Jones, this question is for you. Colonel Jones, this district has been run by Republicans for a very long time. Tell us why you think you can win in this district.
That's a great question. The district, more than half of the district has changed. With the addition of Chesterfield and Henrico County, the city of Williamsburg, James City County, and York County, more than half of the district has changed. Abigail Spanberger is in Congress because of Chesterfield and Henrico, as is Elaine Loria because of James City County and Williamsburg. So when you have a situation like that, incumbency is not the advantage that it normally is. And the enthusiasm among volunteers throughout the district has been overwhelming. I got into this race on the 15th of March. We needed to have 1,000 signatures validated by the 7th of April. In less than a week, we had more than double what we needed, and the enthusiasm has been continuous since then. The demand for yard signs has been off the chain. We can't keep enough yard signs. So I really believe
realistically, not a lot's going to get done. And the chances I'm going to be assigned to a committee is nil because I'll be a rookie, which is okay. My goal for the next 2 years is to use the platform nationally to showcase, if you use my profile, my method, more independents will be on the ballot in 24. Independents left and right. It's the only way moving forward to get this corrupt Congress changed over.
Thank you, Mr. Foster. This next question is for both candidates, and we're going to begin this question with Mr. Foster, followed by Colonel Jones. Here's your question. Do you believe term limits should be placed on the Senate and House candidates?
Yes. Yes.
Do you believe that term limits should be placed on Senate and House candidates?
Oh, my favorite one. On my cards, I want everybody, I got 40 stacks of cards and pamphlets. Last election, the number one concern was term limits, and I naively thought, well, we do have term limits. Every 2 years, stop voting for the same people. But that's not what the people meant. We got to put a maximum number, and right now it's sitting at 12 years. To get to 12 years, you got to go home. The way I can get that done in 2 years is the next time people come knocking on the door in 24 to get on the ballot for a primary or the national, the November general, is, are you going to support Congressman Foster's 12-year maximum term limit, yes or no? If they say yes, sign the petition, get them on down the road. Because until people going to Congress vow that that's on the program, it'll never change from the gravy train of the sitting Congress. We got to change that. 12 years, go work for a university or go, work for a corporation, be on their board. But you got to get the heck out of Congress. 12 years is a filter to eliminate corruption, mandatory.
Thank you, Mr. Foster. Same question. Colonel Jones, absolutely. Colonel Jones, do you believe that term limits should be placed on the Senate and House candidates?
Yes. I also think that there should be no lifetime appointments in government. The Supreme Court should have term limits. We need to expand the court to 13. So, yes, and I don't think we should limit it to Congress. If the president has term limits, they should all have term limits.
Thank you both. This question is for both of you. Again, we will begin with Mr. Foster, followed by Colonel Jones. What is your position on U.S. support for Ukraine?
Everybody grabbing their chairs? We should have never got involved. Our CIA in 14 disrupted that country and installed Zelensky. Putin has uncovered over 30 bioweapons laboratories and he rightly destroyed them. He also came across warehouses full of children in the hundreds that were there for kidnapping purposes. Okay? So my thing on Ukraine, we should have never got involved. And now it went from 40 billion to almost 700 billion. Look, Kennedy did it to Cuba. You turn that ship around with those missiles or you're going to regret it. Putin told the UN, NATO, you put weapons in Ukraine, you're going to have a problem. Putin is only protecting his people. And in his term, he's put over 3,000 churches, brand new churches throughout Russia.
Thank you, Mr. Foster. Colonel Jones, same question. What is your position on U.S. support for Ukraine?
I think we're doing absolutely what we're supposed to do. This is it's democracy. We had a bully, and I absolutely despise bully. Putin is a bully. Donald Trump is a bully, and they're criminals. Putin needs to be in jail. Trump needs to be in jail. We're doing absolutely the right thing. Russia invaded another country for no reason, and we did what we should have done and come in to their defense. We're absolutely doing the right things. Oh, 30 seconds. And so let me say again, I absolutely despise bullies. Putin's a bully. Trump's a bully. They're both criminals. They both should be in prison.
Thank you both. Colonel Jones, this question is for both will you do to support our local law enforcement who are now spending hours with a citizen while waiting for beds in mental health facilities, taking them away from doing their jobs in our communities?
We need to increase our capability to deal with mental health. My mother was a psychiatric nurse at the VA in Salem, Virginia. I grew up in Maryland, Virginia. And under the Reagan administration, we decimated our mental health infrastructure in this country. If you break a leg or you fall and you twist an ankle, there's immediate help for that. But there's no readily available help for folks who are in mental anguish, and we need to increase access and capabilities for that. And when there's a mental health crisis, the police are the wrong folks to send. A police officer, he's there. It's a hammer trying to fix every situation. We need to have more mental health folks addressing some of these mental health issues.
Very good. Thank you, Colonel Jones. Mr. Foster, I'll read the question again because it's a very long question. With so many mental health issues in our communities, what will you do to support our local law enforcement who are now spending hours with the citizen while waiting for beds in mental health facilities, taking them away from doing their jobs in our communities?
Can everybody calculate $3,500 going to all these illegal border crossers in the millions and the $700 billion now going to Ukraine? Remember, Trump got along with North Korea. Trump got along with Putin. Okay? Everything was under control. Agree or not, we didn't have a war. But when you install a corrupt politician, a racist at that, in Biden, Putin saw the opportunity. He knew nothing was going to occur, and he was finally getting the opportunity to protect his country's citizens because NATO was wanting to put nukes in Ukraine, just like Khrushchev wanted to put them in Cuba, and Kennedy, by his honor, turned that ship around, didn't he? And that's all Putin is doing. Look and stop thinking about what you're catching on the news. It's all propaganda, fear-mongering. We're in no threat of a nuclear war by any measure. Get that straight. Ain't nobody going nuclear because it's mutual destruction if they do.
Thank you, Mr. Foster. Thank you, Colonel Jones. Let's give both of our candidates.
Is that it?
Mm-hmm.
That's all
And
seven?
I had 4 minutes